Let me ask you a question. Who's your greatest enemy? Is it your boss who doesn't recognize your hard work, the people who doubt you, the ones who put you down? What if I told you that your greatest enemy has always been closer than you think? It's not the people around you. It's the person you see in the mirror every morning. That's right, it's you versus you. Part 1. The internal battle begins. Every morning you wake up to the same question, the same battle. Will today be different? Imagine this scenario. You wake up and the alarm rings. It's cold and your bed is warm. You have a choice. One part of you is ready to seize the day, to tackle your goals, to make progress. The other part? It wants to stay comfortable, to hit snooze, to drift back into the warmth and safety of sleep. Right there, a battle begins. A battle between your potential and your comfort. This isn't just a battle that happens once. It happens hundreds of times each day. Every decision you make, every action you take, you're either moving closer to the person you want to be or drifting further away from that vision. And the truth is, most of the time, the biggest thing standing in your way is yourself. Think about the times you've held back from going after what you truly want. Was it really because of the circumstances around you? Was it because someone else stopped you? Or was it the voice inside your own head? The one that whispered, "You're not ready. It's too hard. What if you fail?" We all have that voice. It's a voice that thrives on fear, on uncertainty, on your insecurities. And the battle of you versus you is all about silencing that voice, overcoming the part of you that wants to stay small and comfortable. The comfort of familiarity. Why do we hold ourselves back? One word: comfort. The human brain is designed to keep you safe, to avoid danger, to seek familiarity. This instinct was crucial for survival thousands of years ago when threats were everywhere. Wild animals, hostile environments, the uncertainty of finding food or shelter. The brain's number one job was to keep you alive. But in today's world, those same instincts often hold us back. We're not running from predators anymore, but we are still wired to avoid discomfort. We don't want to feel fear or risk failure or step into the unknown. It's far easier to stay where we are, comfortable but unfulfilled. And that's why the internal battle is so fierce. The real danger isn't in facing challenges, it's in never facing them at all. It's in staying exactly where you are day after day, year after year, until you look back and realize that comfort was the very thing that kept you from becoming who you could have been. A real-life example. Consider the story of John, a man who always had a passion for art. From a young age, he loved to draw, to paint, to create. But as he grew older, he was told that art wasn't practical, that he needed to find a real job. So he did what was expected. He went to college, got a degree in business, and found a corporate job. Years passed, and though John was successful by most people's standards, something was missing. Every day he felt a tug, a pull towards something greater, something more meaningful. He would see his old sketchbooks gathering dust, and he'd feel a pang of regret. But then, the voice in his head would say, "It's too late. You're too busy. What if you fail?" For years, John listened to that voice. He stayed in his comfort zone. He chose safety over passion. Until one day something changed. He realized that the only thing standing between him and his dreams was himself. It wasn't his job or his responsibilities or the expectations of others. It was the battle within. John decided to make a change. He started small, just a few minutes each day, picking up a pencil and sketching. Slowly, those few minutes grew into hours, and before long, he was creating again. It wasn't easy. He faced doubt, fear, the uncertainty of whether his work was good enough. But every day, he chose to fight the battle of you versus you. And in doing so, he found a sense of fulfillment that he'd been missing for years. Part 2. Overcoming self-doubt. Self-doubt. It's something we all face, no matter who we are or what we've accomplished. It tells you you're not good enough, that you don't have what it takes, that you're not worthy of success. But here's the thing, that voice of doubt, it's a liar. It feeds on fear, and it thrives when you allow it to take over. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out at the vast unknown. It's terrifying. You don't know what's out there. You don't know if you'll succeed or fail. But the only way to grow, to truly become the best version of yourself, is to take that leap. Self-doubt keeps you on the edge, clinging to safety. But you have to jump because the unknown is where growth happens. The most successful people in the world face self-doubt. The difference is they don't let it control them. They recognize that the voice of doubt is just that, a voice. It doesn't define who they are or what they're capable of. And you can do the same. Challenging the voice of doubt. One of the most powerful tools you have in the battle of you versus you is the ability to challenge that voice of doubt. When it tells you you can't do this, respond with, why not? When it says you're not ready, respond with, I'll never know until I try. Every time you challenge self-doubt, you weaken its grip on you. Think about a time when you wanted to do something but didn't because you doubted yourself. Maybe it was applying for a promotion, starting a new project, or speaking up in a meeting. What stopped you? Was it truly a lack of ability, or was it the fear of what might happen if you tried? The next time you face self-doubt, pause and ask yourself, is this fear rational? What's the worst that could happen? Most of the time, the worst-case scenario is far less frightening than you think. And even if you do fail, that failure is a chance to learn, to grow, to become better. Daily practices to win the battle against self-doubt. 1. Set small, achievable goals. The battle between you and yourself isn't won in a single day. It's won in the small daily victories that build up over time. Set tiny, achievable goals that push you just outside your comfort zone. Maybe it's waking up 15 minutes earlier, or doing one thing every day that scares you. Each time you achieve a small goal, you prove to yourself that you can do it. You build momentum, and that momentum becomes a powerful force in overcoming doubt. 2. Positive affirmations. That inner critic. It's loud and it's persistent, but you can drown it out with your own voice. Every morning, look in the mirror and tell yourself 3 things. I am capable. I am resilient. I am worthy. At first, it might feel strange, even uncomfortable, but over time, your brain starts to believe it. You start to become the person you say you are. 3. Visualize your best self. Close your eyes and imagine the person you want to become. Picture every detail, how they stand, how they speak, how they carry themselves. Visualize it in vivid detail. Then, each day ask yourself, what can I do today to be a little more like that person? Visualization is powerful because it gives your mind a clear picture of where you're going. It shifts your focus from where you are to where you want to be, and it helps you see yourself as capable of achieving it. 4. Take action. Despite fear. Fear is inevitable. It's always going to be there, whispering reasons why you shouldn't take a risk, why you shouldn't put yourself out there. But the key to overcoming fear isn't to wait for it to disappear, it's to act despite it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's action in spite of fear. The more you act despite fear, the weaker it becomes. 5. Journal your wins. At the end of each day, take a moment to write down 3 wins, 3 moments where you overcame the version of yourself that wanted to quit, to procrastinate, to stay small. These can be tiny wins. Maybe you chose to exercise instead of watching TV, or spoke up in a meeting when you felt nervous. Writing these down reinforces that you're capable of winning the battle. It reminds you on the tough days that you've done it before, and you can do it again. Part 3. The comfort zone trap. Let's dive deeper into the comfort zone and why it can be such a dangerous trap. We all crave comfort. It's human nature. We want to feel safe, secure, and in control. But here's the harsh truth. Nothing grows in the comfort zone. Growth happens when you step out, when you push yourself to do things that scare you, that make you uncomfortable. Imagine this. You're in a dark room and you're holding a candle. The light from the candle represents your comfort zone. You can see everything within that circle of light. It's safe, it's predictable, it's familiar. But beyond that light, there's darkness, the unknown. To expand that light, to see more of what's out there, you have to step into the darkness. You have to push beyond what's familiar and comfortable. Every time you step out of your comfort zone, whether it's taking on a new challenge, learning a new skill, or facing a fear, you expand your light. You grow. But it's not easy. The comfort zone is alluring because it promises safety. It's the place where you don't have to face failure, where you don't have to deal with uncertainty, where you don't have to risk anything. But that's the very reason why staying in your comfort zone is dangerous. It keeps you small. It keeps you from becoming the person you're capable of being. The danger of staying comfortable. Think about the people you admire most. The ones who have achieved great things, who have made a difference, who have lived lives of purpose and meaning. Do you think they stayed in their comfort zones? Do you think they avoided risks? Avoided challenges, avoided discomfort? The truth is, every person who has ever achieved anything meaningful has done so by stepping out of their comfort zone. They've taken risks, they've faced fears, they've embraced challenges, they've been willing to feel uncomfortable because they knew that's where growth happens. Let's take a moment to think about a real-world example. Consider Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. He failed thousands of times before he succeeded. Can you imagine the level of discomfort, the frustration, the self-doubt he must have faced with each failure? It would have been far easier for him to give up, to stay comfortable, to say, maybe this isn't possible. But he didn't. He kept going. He kept pushing. He kept stepping out of his comfort zone, and because of that, he changed the world. Now, let's bring it back to you. What's your comfort zone? Maybe it's staying in a job you don't love because it's safe. Maybe it's avoiding a conversation you know you need to have because it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's putting off a dream because pursuing it would mean facing the possibility of failure. The comfort zone keeps you where you are. And if you want to grow, if you want to become the person you're meant to be, you have to be willing to step out of it. You have to be willing to feel uncomfortable, to face fear, to take risks. Breaking free from the comfort zone. So, how do you break free from the comfort zone? How do you push yourself to take that step into the darkness, into the unknown? 1. Take small steps. The idea of stepping out of your comfort zone can be overwhelming, but you don't have to take huge leaps. Start small. If you're afraid of public speaking, start by speaking up in a small meeting. If you want to start a new career, start by taking a class or learning a new skill. Each small step you take expands your comfort zone little by little, and before you know it, you'll be doing things you once thought were impossible. 2. Embrace discomfort. Discomfort is a sign of growth. When you feel uncomfortable, it means you're pushing yourself, challenging yourself, growing. Instead of avoiding discomfort, lean into it. Recognize it for what it is, a necessary part of the process. The more you embrace discomfort, the less power it has over you. 3. Reframe fear. Fear is often what keeps us in our comfort zones, but what if you reframe fear? What if, instead of seeing it as a warning sign, you saw it as a guide? Fear often points us in the direction of what we need to do to grow. If something scares you, it's likely because it matters to you. Instead of running from fear, let it guide you. Let it show you where you need to go. 4. Visualize success. One of the most powerful tools for breaking free from the comfort zone is visualization. Close your eyes and imagine yourself stepping out of your comfort zone. Picture yourself succeeding. Visualize the outcome you want. When you see yourself succeeding, you build confidence. You start to believe that it's possible, and that belief gives you the courage to take action. A personal story of growth. Let me share a personal story that might resonate with you. There was a time in my life when I was terrified of failure. I wanted to start my own business, but the thought of failing, of putting myself out there and falling short, was paralyzing. I stayed in my comfort zone for years, working a job that was safe, that paid the bills, but that left me feeling unfulfilled. One day I realized that if I didn't make a change, I'd spend the rest of my life wondering, what if? I knew I had to take a step out of my comfort zone. So I started small. I began working on my business idea in my spare time. I faced setbacks, I made mistakes, but I kept going. Each step I took, each challenge I faced expanded my comfort zone. And eventually, I took the leap. I quit my job and pursued my dream full time. It was terrifying. There were moments of doubt, moments when I questioned whether I'd made the right choice. But every time I faced fear, every time I felt uncomfortable, I reminded myself that this was part of the process. And today, I can honestly say it was worth it. The growth, the fulfillment, the sense of purpose, I wouldn't have experienced any of it if I had stayed in my comfort zone. The cost of staying comfortable. There's a cost to staying comfortable, and it's a cost that many people don't realize until it's too late. The cost is regret. It's looking back on your life and realizing that you never became the person you could have been because you were too afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Picture yourself years from now, looking back on your life. What will you see? Will you see someone who took risks, who faced fears, who lived fully? Or will you see someone who stayed comfortable, who played it safe, who settled for less than they were capable of? The choice is yours. The battle of you versus you is about deciding who you want to be. It's about choosing growth over comfort, courage over fear, action over inaction. It's about recognizing that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the battle within. The Comfort Zone Challenge. I want to challenge you right now. Think about one thing you've been avoiding because it's uncomfortable. Maybe it's a conversation you need to have, a goal you've been putting off, or a fear you need to face. Whatever it is, make a commitment to take one small step towards it. It doesn't have to be a giant leap, just one small step. Write it down, set a deadline, and take action. The more you do this, the more you'll realize that the comfort zone isn't as comfortable as it seems. It's a prison, and the key to unlocking it is within you. Part 4. The fear of failure, a necessary battle. Let's talk about failure. We all fear it. It's one of the biggest reasons we hold ourselves back. But what if I told you that failure isn't the end? What if I told you that failure is actually a necessary part of the process of becoming your best self? Think about a child learning to walk. They stumble, they fall, they cry. But do they give up? They get back up and try again. Failure is part of the learning process. It's how we grow, how we get better, how we learn what works and what doesn't. The problem is, as we get older, we start to see failure differently. We start to see it as something to be avoided at all costs. We fear what people will think. We fear looking foolish. We fear the pain of falling short. But the truth is, failure is only final if you quit. As long as you keep moving, keep trying, keep learning, you're not failing, you're growing. Part 5. Transforming you versus you into strength. The battle of you versus you is often seen as a struggle, a fight against your own limitations, fears, and weaknesses. But what if we reframed it? What if we saw this battle as an opportunity, a chance to build resilience, to discover who we truly are, to transform ourselves into the person we've always wanted to become? In every struggle, in every moment of self-doubt, there is potential for growth. Each time you push past fear, each time you take action despite discomfort, you're proving to yourself that you're stronger than you think. You're proving that the limitations you thought existed were never real. They were just constructs of your mind. The power of self-compassion. One of the most powerful tools in the battle of you versus you is self-compassion. So often we're our own worst critics. We beat ourselves up for every mistake, every failure, every shortcoming. We speak to ourselves in ways we would never speak to others. But self-compassion is not about being easy on yourself. It's about recognizing that you're human, that you're going to make mistakes, and that those mistakes are part of the journey. Think about it. If a friend came to you struggling with self-doubt, feeling like they couldn't achieve their goals, how would you respond? You'd offer support, encouragement, and understanding. But when it comes to ourselves, we often do the opposite. We need to learn to be our own best friend, to offer ourselves the same kindness and understanding we offer to others. When you practice self-compassion, you create a safe space within yourself, a space where it's okay to fail, where it's okay to be imperfect. And when you create that space, you give yourself the freedom to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, to grow. Daily battle plan: how to win you versus you. Winning the battle of you versus you isn't about a one-time decision. It's about the daily choices you make, the small actions you take every day that move you closer to the person you want to be. Here's a simple daily battle plan to help you win. 1. Morning mindset. Start each day with intention. Take a few moments each morning to set your mindset. Remind yourself of your goals, of the person you're striving to become. Visualize yourself facing challenges with courage, stepping out of your comfort zone, and taking action. Identify your triggers. Throughout the day, pay attention to the moments when you feel resistance, when you want to procrastinate, when you feel self-doubt creeping in, when you're tempted to stay comfortable. These are your triggers, the moments when the battle of you versus you is most intense. Identify them and make a conscious choice to respond differently. 3. Take one bold action. Every day, commit to taking one bold action, something that scares you, something that challenges you, something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be big. It could be speaking up in a meeting, making a difficult phone call, or trying something new. Each bold action you take is a victory in the battle. Reflect and celebrate. At the end of each day, take a few moments to reflect on your wins. Celebrate the times when you faced fear, when you took action, when you overcame the part of you that wanted to quit. Reflecting on your wins helps reinforce the progress you're making, and it reminds you that you're capable of winning the battle. The legacy of you versus you. The battle of you versus you isn't just about achieving success. It's about leaving a legacy. It's about becoming the kind of person who inspires others, who shows what's possible when you refuse to settle, when you refuse to let fear and self-doubt define your life. Think about the impact you could have, not just on your own life, but on the lives of those around you. When you choose to fight the battle of you versus you, when you choose to step out of your comfort zone, to face fear, to pursue your dreams, you inspire others to do the same. You become a beacon of possibility, a living example of what's possible when you choose growth over comfort, courage over fear. This is the legacy of you versus you. It's not just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process and the impact you have on others. It's about becoming the best version of yourself and inspiring others to do the same. Outro. Embrace the battle within. So here we are. We've talked about the battle of you versus you, about stepping out of your comfort zone, facing fear, overcoming self-doubt, and transforming yourself into the person you've always wanted to be. But now it's time for you to take action. Because knowing is not enough. Understanding the battle is just the beginning. It's what you do with that knowledge that matters. Every day, you're going to face the battle of you versus you. There will be moments when you want to quit, when you want to stay comfortable, when fear and self-doubt seem overwhelming. But in those moments, remember this: you are stronger than you think. You have what it takes to win this battle, and the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the choice to keep fighting. The journey to becoming your best self is not easy. It's filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt, but it's also filled with growth, discovery, and the incredible satisfaction of knowing that you didn't settle, that you didn't let fear and comfort define your life. And as you take on this battle, remember that you're not alone. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has faced the same battle. The difference is they chose to keep going. They chose to fight you versus you every single day, and they became the person they were meant to be because of it. If this message resonates with you, if you're ready to take on the battle of you versus you and start transforming your life, make sure to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Stoic Universe for more powerful insights. Together, let's fight the battle that truly matters, the one within. Thank you for watching. Remember, the only person you need to be better than is the person you were yesterday. It's always you versus you. And I know you have what it takes to win.